And welcome back, everyone, to another interesting and exciting episode of the Av Files. I'm your host, Av, and I'm joined once again by Daniel of the Wrecked Nation.
What's going on, man? Always good to be here. Always good to be doing these things. Been a while. I mean, it hasn't really been a while, but
It's been a little
uh,
bit.
it's been a little bit. But it's always good to circle back.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
always enjoy these. So, how are things up in the Andes?
Oh, it's you can tell it's a little chilly up here. But
Blustery.
blustery. But as long as I'm able to get some drink, I'm good.
Hey, man, can't argue with that. Can't argue with
No,
that.
no, man,
So,
it's crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Diddy's in the news. Football season's on. You know. Uh, what did they find? Like 800 bottles of baby oil in his house.
bro, he's gone.
Whatever. I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff, man. I
Uh,
don't know what's going on.
Say what's it called? Bad Boy Does Life. Love
Yeah,
that
bad
new
boy
record
is
label.
bad boy is doing life. I think that's over with. We're
Uh,
trying to start uh, our own little group.
we
I don't
are.
want to say militia, but
No, definitely
we're
not.
doing it.
Not on this platform.
Yeah, we're doing it. We're good. We're trying to start our own little airsoft group.
Yeah,
You
man.
know,
Should
have
should
fun
be
with
good.
that.
Should be
Yeah,
good.
I'm getting some of the trackers to help me do it. Some of these
Yeah.
guys in the Andes, maybe they can join me. They can show me around.
Some
Maybe
Sherpas.
yeah, we'll get some Sherpas to join us. Yeah, it'd be pretty fun.
That should be interesting, man. I mean, I honestly I can't wait. I think, that airsoft is a lot more economically feasible than paintball.
Right,
So
you said
I'm
that earlier that
yeah,
it's cheaper. It's cheaper
so much,
to
so much cheaper. Because back in the day, we had a bunch of paintball matches here and there, and
yeah.
at my old house, and that was just that it's just not sustainable. It's so much money. The paintballs cost money. All that shit costs money. So, airsoft, I think, is should be fun. Especially, hey, beats the shit out of learning how to play pickleball. So I'll be there.
Yeah, I remember doing I remember doing it. No, I remember playing paintball, going around shooting. Man, that hurt.
Yeah, no,
Hurt a lot.
that was tough. That was tough. But it's funny because we were talking about this off screen, and it's just like we're gonna do it. We're gonna jump in. Like, dude, we're so out of shape. If we try
Yeah.
to do it and just we're gonna fail, we're gonna catch all the bullets.
Well, that's why I said I'm gonna get the ghillie suit so I can just sit in one spot and not have to run around.
I'm just gonna dress in orange and just go. Just go. Just gonna go for it.
Just go for it. Yeah, no,
Yep.
that'd be great. I'm actually kind of pumped for it. I gotta find my I gotta choose my weapon.
Oh yes, yes. This is very true. This is very
Yeah,
true. You got to choose weapon. You got to
yeah.
choose your category. Your what is it? Your niche. Which person are you?
Well, yeah. Which one are you gonna be? Are you gonna use the LMG, the assault rifle, the sniper
Yeah,
rifle? Or are you gonna go
yeah.
hand to hand combat?
Hand to hand combat always wins. The
Hand
most effective.
to hand. Well, hey, in Call of Duty, the guy runs around with boxing gloves on and like goes behind and punches everybody in the
Nice.
face.
Oh, there you go. You could do that. That probably might get you kicked out. But
Dude, that would
yes,
actually be kind of funny.
yeah. I wanted to get like a red Sharpie. Let red marker. Be like, gotcha. Just shiv them.
Sharper with a big X, big
Boom!
red
You are
X.
chopped, sir.
He's dead.
Uh, he's dead, 100%. Um, but yeah, man. So speaking of battling in the woods, what do we have to talk about today?
Well, before we go any further, before we get to that part, please, if you are enjoying these videos and you would like to help support the channel, subscribe, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment. Please leave a comment. We like all the comments. Even if you don't like it, just leave a comment anyway, just so you can say,
Yeah.
hey, I was here and it sucked. Cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
Hey,
I appreciate it.
engagement. And
Yeah.
share
So
this with your friends, family, and enemies, please.
share it with your enemies. It's a good
100%.
way to like
Yep.
torture them.
Spread
So
this like the Rona. That's what I'm gonna say.
right, spread it like the Rona.
Yep.
On today's episode, we'll be talking a little bit about the cryptid, the Wendigo. Where did it come from and its history? And we'll throw in a sighting or two. So, but
I thought you were
yeah.
about to go like, I'm sorry. Like, where'd it come from? Where'd it go? I thought you were gonna be like Cotton Eye Joe, the Cotton Eye Joe. I'm like, no, 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 no,
Cutting
no,
Eye
don't do
Joe.
that.
Yeah.
No.
No, not doing that.
Okay, got it. Okay, I'm here.
Not
I'm
doing
back
that.
in.
But where did it go? Has it gone anywhere? Where did it come from?
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah,
I am literally on the edge of my seat.
That's our thumbnail. Oh no.
I don't know. Who knows? Oh man.
Um. But anyway, what is a Wendigo? So Wendigo is a cannibalistic monster from the folklore of the Algonquin speaking tribes in North America. The Wendigo is often depicted as a malevolent spirit or beast that stalks and eats humans, or as a spirit that possesses humans and turns them into cannibals. Now there are a few different descriptions of the Wendigo. The Wendigo is sometimes described as a giant humanoid with a heart of ice and long limbs, sharp claws and teeth, and sunken eyes that glow red.
Okay.
And others just, yeah. I mean, a typical scary cryptid thing that's out in the wilderness, right?
It's everything you can imagine that makes a noise at night. That's what it is.
Right. You know, it's just a thing that's out there that looks scary. Imagine something scary looking at you. You look out the window and you see something staring back at you.
Now,
That's probably what it looks like.
Now, bro, personally for me, like, give me a monster any day over a humanoid type monster. Like, if it kind of looks like a human, I'm out of there. I'm burning the house down, burning myself down. I don't know what that is. Like, there's no way. But if it's like a monster, it's like it's a beast. Get the doors, cover the, whatever that is. But
Right.
a humanoid would freak me out. Like, I would probably be frozen in fear.
Oh, definitely, man. I mean, because like just to be walking around or even just look outside and you see a human-looking creature or thing that's out there, like that would trip me out.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
But so others describe it as a tall, thin, bone-like creature with dark fur and almost no skin. Others describe him as an emaciated with grayish skin that's just clinging to the bones. So it looks like it's rotting away, basically.
Holy shit.
Is what people say it looks like, right? So it's this big thing with some fur on it. It's decaying. Looks like it's decaying. I guess almost like a zombie-ish type of creature, right?
Okay.
It's got elongated limbs. It has a skeletal appearance, and sometimes it's described as having antlers or a deer-like head. But this is more of a modern interpretation and less common in traditional folklore. So more modern people, or the more modern stories, are say that it's got like these huge antlers, and it's got the skull or like the face of a deer, and it's like this big. He's like hunched over,
Oh my God.
just kind of like looking around or whatever. Yeah. So imagine seeing that in the woods. If you're a hunter, just imagine you're hunting and you want to shoot deer and you see this thing like that just staring at you or walking around.
No,
Right?
that's
You don't want to see that.
Fuck no. That's just no. Like, that's like a thing with antlers that looks emaciated with a skull walking around. Either any of these interpretations are terrifying. Like, just some emaciated, elongated limbed, zombie looking person. or thing, the humanoid to deer-ish, yeah, any of
Hmm.
those descriptions will get me the f up out of the woods
Yeah, hell yeah.
forever.
So it is basically like a tall half, I guess, half man, half deer type creature that's rotting.
Jesus.
Right? It's something in that circle, right?
And it only eats humans?
I'm sure it eats other animals that are out there, but it's associated with humans. So I'll get to
Wow.
that in a second,
Okay.
a little bit
Okay.
more. The Wendigo is said to cause its victims to feel insatiable hunger, the desire to eat flesh or other humans, and have an uncontrolled urge to commit murder. So if it possesses you, or somehow you turn into this creature, you want to go out and you have yeah, you want to just kill, you want to eat flesh, you want to kill somebody, so you're going to go out and kill this person.
Okay.
It's what the folklore says, what the story says, and
Okay.
you're gonna want to go eat. You have cannibalistic traits.
Huh.
Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So you're almost pretty much rabid. You're like,
Yeah, it's kind of like having rabies, I guess,
you're just,
if you were actually an animal. Well, I guess in a way you would be, because you'd be half deer, half human, and
yeah.
but you don't like foam at the mouth or anything.
But instead of wanting to drink water, you just eat people. Got it.
You want to go eat people, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's just, I mean, yeah, it's kind of, that's scary in itself. But according to
Yeah.
legend, the Wendigo was once a hunter roaming the forest hunting for deer. As the story goes, he got lost and became driven mad by hunger and resorted to cannibalism, which turned him into a gruesome beast that looks like a cross between a haunted, emaciated deer and tortured, rage filled man. Not only is the Wendigo thought by some to be a real creature that roams the forests of northern Minnesota, the Great Lakes region, and parts of the Canadian forest, these regions, characterized by their harsh winters and vast wilderness, align with the Wendigo's mythical nature as a creature of the cold, desolation, and isolation. With the stories dating back centuries, long before any European contact, these early stories served as both moral teachings and explanations for the dire consequences of human excess and greed. While it is often considered a cryptid today in popular culture, its origins are deeply tied to spiritual and moral stories rather than the concept of a modern cryptid. So I always thought of it as a cryptid myself, but I
Okay.
guess technically it's not. It's more of just a creature,
It's more of like folklore, like a
folklore.
cautionary tale.
Hmm. Yeah.
So okay. So I would say, I know it's still way early in the story, but I feel like the cannibalism thing, I could see happening, especially if, let's say, you're a native hunter. Okay, you go out there, there's no game, you're
Hmm.
starving to death, and you have to eat other people to survive, right? Well, you are pretty much out of the tribe at that point, because that is a party foul, and so then they become probably like he's possessed. He's been taken over by some evil, like you said, spirit, which means
Right.
he's just out there roaming the
Which in
woods
these
eating
tribes,
people.
right? Which in these tribes, when that would happen, that's what they would say. You were possessed by a spirit, but you were possessed by
Mhm.
the spirit of the Wendigo. You know.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's like there's like, I guess, in a way, it's kind of like there's a rhyme and reason. People go out, and remember, it's a long time ago, so they don't have like
Hmm.
phones and cars and stuff like that too when
Yeah.
these stories started. So they're out in the wilderness, and you have to go hunt for your food. So you go out there and you go hunting, and maybe you get lost, or maybe you're just out there longer than you expected to be. You run out of your food, you become hungry, you become like, I gotta eat something. And who's with you? Somebody else. Maybe there's a group of you hunting together, and what do? You
Yeah.
turn on them because you're so fucking hungry that you got to eat something.
Yeah. But that's so okay. So there's like three different versions of this Wendigo. There's like the cryptid version, which is the beast from hell, right? Which is the man deer beast, the cannibal man deer beast. Then there's like
Well,
the
it all
spirit
depends.
version.
I think it all depends on where the story's coming from, like who is telling the story, because technically, like I said, it's from folklore's origin, but it has turned into
A
more of a
cryptid.
cryptid as time went on.
That's kind of unique if you think about it.
It's a little different. It's weird.
Not many things turn into cryptid. Well, I mean, I guess you could say Bigfoot did, Sasquatch did, but
Yeah.
there was more proof, or you know what I mean, guys, proof of Bigfoot, of Sasquatch, there's physical evidence, or what they say, footprints. Um, so I was thinking the Wendigo could be almost like an omen of things to come as well. Because if you see this skeleton deer, I don't know if it's after you to eat you. You know,
I would. I mean, I would kind of think that it is
man.
right
Okay,
because it's not haunting you. It's going to eat you.
it's
It's
hunting
a
you.
cannibal,
Got it.
right? It's
Got it.
kind of like a cannibal, right? Um, So, in the northern regions where the Algonquin people lived, winters were often long and brutal. Food could become scarce, and the risk of starvation was a constant threat. So, the Wendigo was tied to this experience. So, like, yeah, so you're in these small tribes, or you're in a tribe, and the region that you're in, you have long, cold, brutal winters. What happens in the winter? There's not a lot of food. There's not, nothing to eat. So, what do people resort to? Eating each other, or some
Dying.
form of that, and it's either die or resort to cannibalism. So cannibalism was a terrifying but real possibility. The Wendigo became a symbol of that ultimate moral transgression. Early native societies used the Wendigo myth as a cautionary tale to discourage people from resorting to such extreme measures, emphasizing that doing so would lead to spiritual and physical damnation, transforming them into a Wendigo. The legend often serves a particular purpose: to reinforce social taboos and maintain group cohesion during times of extreme hardship, such as during the winter months when isolation and famine were common. So, a lot of times, um, The Shining. What happened in The Shining? They were locked up in that hotel for a winter. They couldn't go anywhere, and they turned. Jack Nicholson went nuts.
Yeah. I I could see this. I could see this. The root of this 100%. I'm with it, because think about it. Okay, let's say you're in the tribe, right? And you're found to partake in cannibalism, right? You're killing people to eat. And the tribe finds out. Well, what they do is they push you away, which means if you're not part of the tribe, you're not part of their food that they get eventually. So
Mhm.
you're literally out there on your own in, let's say, the winter with no food. So what do you do? Well, then I guess you have to start hunting the tribe for food.
Right.
And
And remember, it's probably it, and it's what do you call it? Like, in the winter months, some people died of starvation. So what do you resort to when there's no food? Cannibalism. You're going to eat the people that
yeah,
have died.
yeah,
So I mean,
yeah, that's crazy though. That's
yeah,
more of
but it was
like,
also a tale to tell them to be like, hey, try to keep your head on
yeah,
straight.
yeah. Like
Otherwise, this is what's going to happen.
this is the path of no return. Once you eat human flesh, you're toast.
Yeah, that's
Like
it.
that's
And
it.
honestly, I never really looked into the Wendigo. I've heard about it before, but the most I've actually seen the Wendigo, or looked into Wendigo, was because of comic books. It was in Incredible Hulk, so I know Incredible
Hmm,
Hulk fights Wendigo.
okay. Well,
And Wolverine.
I
Wolverine
just
fights Wendigo too.
you know I I've heard the hunter story before. Like it was a hunter that was out there, resorted to
Hmm.
cannibalism, and
Right.
he was just eternally cursed, damned pretty much to eat. Like he was hungry just for human flesh, and when he ate human flesh, it didn't nourish his body, but that's the only thing he craved. He couldn't eat anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's like the curse of the Wendigo, right? Kind of thing. And it can't be broken. That's I've heard that in I think like the second episode of Supernatural covered that. There was a Wendigo
Oh, really?
episode. Yeah, it
Huh.
was very early on, and I was like, oh, and that's when I got busy, and I didn't ever watch another one. But
Huh. Interesting.
I thought it was interesting because it was almost like a shapeshifter. Like it would lure people into the woods with calling for help and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and
Well, I
set
remember
traps.
we've heard those stories before, right? I believe we've actually talked about that also, where other cryptids or other creatures might call out, and you hear them, and you go to it, and that's it.
Yeah.
You
And
know, you're
remember, since it is a humanoid and its story origin comes from this hunter, this you know, patient Z, right? The
mm-hmm,
beginning one was a Native American. He was a hunter, you
mm-hmm,
know, and let's say if we keep that true, then guess what
mm-hmm,
that Wendigo can do? Set traps.
right, right,
If he's the apex predator that with the cannibalistic side, he's setting traps for
mm-hmm,
humans. And that's different than just monster, kind of blurry running through the woods.
right,
That's the terrifying thing of it all. And that's kind of what
mm-hmm,
happened. And I'm using that episode I watched as kind of a reference. Like it made a trap for the humans that went out there.
right.
And that was the end of them. Um, but yeah, man, no, that's so nowhere in there does it say shapeshifter because I always thought it was a kind of
I've
associated with
heard.
it.
I actually was looking around, and I didn't see anything that said shapeshifter, but I thought I had seen somewhere where it talked about it was a shapeshifter, but the only thing it shape shifted really into that I could tell was that from a human to a Wendigo. It couldn't never go back to a human because once you were a Wendigo, that was it.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's scary too. Because I don't know. I think because on our path, our very cryptid heavy path, videos and shorts have been recommended to me on my YouTube feed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I see these shorts like Wendigo caught transforming, and so maybe I'm not saying they know what the fuck a Wendigo is, right?
Right.
But it'd be interesting to see if any lore because it's turned into a cryptid, which I don't think it is. It doesn't act like a cryptid. It's not. It's more like a possession.
Right. Right.
Like I
Well,
think that there's
I
definitely
kind of
cannibal
don't.
people out there in the woods.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there is. Yeah, there
Yeah.
there has to be. There's what they call them, feral people. Yeah, they're out
Yeah.
there, but I don't. I don't. Yeah, I don't know if I want to call it a cryptid. It's just a creature that's out there. You know.
Yeah. I think could just be cannibal humanoid, which is not less terrifying.
Right.
Which is not like, oh well, in that case, whatever. That's just Steve the cryptid. Like, no, fucking cannibal.
Right.
But it's all up north, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where it
Yeah.
started
So
up
it's
north.
like, oh yeah, it's like way up there. It goes from like, what is that? What I say? Like the Great Lakes area, Michigan, into
Yeah,
Canada. It's up there, and apparently it's just up that and then in that part of the country. I didn't see
huh?
anything where it was in like the California woods or Appalachian Mountains or anything like that.
That's
It's mainly in
interesting,
like
man.
Canada and like up in that area. That's where he lives.
It's it's up where you could starve and freeze to death. That's where it is. It's up
Well, I
there.
mean, they have brutal fucking winters up there, man.
Yeah, no, but that's what
Up
I'm
by the
saying. It's
Great
not like
Lakes.
it's
Well,
not
because
like
the
in
Great Lakes, they get
Arizona.
all that cold air off the, from the from Canada and stuff like that. And I mean,
Mhm.
I've seen pictures and up there where they're,
Yeah.
like some of the lighthouses and shit over there is like just covered with ice.
Oh yeah, bro. No, up
You know?
north. Yeah, that's snow. No, thank you. That's where that shit happens. Like snow
Yeah.
in buckets and feet. The tons of snow that fall there, man. Yeah, no,
I
thank you,
like
man.
snow. I
But
don't like
so
it that much, man.
I like it
You know?
once. I like it once. Once it snows the first time, like we got it out of the way. We're good to go. Let's move on. Let's let's
Yeah.
say we did it. Um, but no, okay. So that's interesting because I feel like it's very important. Because some of these cryptids we've had on the channel are like very wide reaching. Like Bigfoot is everywhere. Fucking chupacabra is up
Yeah.
to like
Yeah.
Utah by now. You know, I mean, Snallygaster lives in our dreams. You know what I mean? Like all
I
this,
love that guy.
but yeah, Snallygaster,
Yeah.
Snally,
Big old
100%.
snally.
Yeah, but yeah, it's not as widespread as that. Like, look, you have like the lichens or lycanthropy or the werewolf stuff. You know, you have those like dog men,
Yeah.
right?
All over the
They're
place.
all over the place, right?
Vampires.
Um, yeah, vampires. Not so much. Vampires? Huh. I mean,
Well, they're
they're
all over
just
the place.
they're like class A monster though, right? They're not like cryptid. They're like, oh yeah, okay. I mean, people have been like
No, they're not cryptid.
caught drinking people's blood, haven't they? They have to have.
Oh,
Had
yeah.
to have.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. I mean, there's
they're
people that
not
even
obviously
admit
not
to like doing it.
yeah, but they're not obviously not vampires. They're just wackadoos drinking blood. Um,
Yeah. I mean, yeah. There's no. They're not like actually. They don't
yeah,
really have to drink blood to sustain themselves. They
yeah,
just
they're
say
just
they
fuck,
think they do, or they just
yeah,
say they do because they think they're fucking vampires.
yeah.
There's a bunch of fucking
Um,
nuts.
yeah, but no. So it's interesting just to see like it's consolidated up there, and I bet that goes on the same lines as I bet the Native American tribes where it comes from don't even say Wendigo. I bet it's bad luck. I bet they don't even
Oh,
talk
one of
about
those. Yeah, it's probably one of those where they don't say.
it. They don't even
Um,
say it.
yeah, it's like yes, there's stories of this creature, Wendigo, but we don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, because
I'm sure. I don't know.
they act the same with like shapeshifters too. You know,
Skinwalkers.
yeah, skinwalkers. They won't. They know that they're out there. They don't say nothing about them though. They're like, nope, nope, not talking about them. Not talking about them.
Which is so weird, man. Which is, I mean, it's very interesting. Kind of it's pretty creepy, but it's weird too, man. It's like, man, they don't even
Yeah,
want to like mention it. They don't want to talk about it at all because they're like they're saying like it'll you know make them show
yeah,
up or some shit.
dude. Yeah, no, thank you, no, thank you. Like I take that. See, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not superstitious, right? But like someone from like a Native American tribe was like, "Hey, man, we just don't talk about this." I'm like, "Oh shit, okay." And then it's like it kind of cranks it up a notch for me, because for me it's just whatever. We're talking about cryptids, and I think it's ridiculous, but but if they're terrified, I'm going to be terrified too because they know they've been plugged in longer than I've been. My lineage has been around, and
Yeah, no kidding.
like, and all their stuff always comes from like something that happened, like something like it always comes from something, bro, like something crazy, and that's so believable. So that's up there. So Wendigo is up there with like the likes of the Thunderbird,
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
kind of thing, where it resides a lot in like the Native American lore, but sightings have happened very few and far between
It's
of
out there.
Thunderbirds.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah. I mean, they don't, and it's, like you said, it's one of those things that they don't talk about. It doesn't come up in conversation.
hmm.
You know.
Yeah. No, that's scary to think about, dude. Some cannibalistic fucking humanoid out in the
creature
woods. Yeah.
just comes over and like rips you apart, and,
No.
or somehow turns you. Yeah, you turn into one.
So does it turn you into one, or does it have like? See, this is the crazy thing with these cryptid rules, right? Does it turn you into
Hmm.
one? Does it is it transferable, or do you have to like
I
defeat it? Is there you know what I mean? Like,
Well, I mean,
oh,
I guess you can kill it, but it. I think it can turn you into one.
hmm,
If I'm not mistaken.
hmm, interesting. Like, because yeah, then because then if it can turn you into one, you're almost looking at something like possession at that point. You
Right,
know,
right, right. Hmm.
like
But I think it does at a point. If there is something, I think I didn't. I say that too. Like it
yeah, it turns you
possess
into a
possess you.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then you're looking at like spiritual type stuff, and that I believe, I believe that, I
Right.
believe that.
Yeah.
If there are people out there that believe they're fucking werewolves, yeah, I believe that.
100%.
You know, especially when you're surrounded by winter and no food, I'll believe anything at that point.
Yeah.
That should
Shit.
drive people fucking nuts.
Hell yeah. All right. So back on track.
Yes.
The Wendigo was also seen as a spirit of the wilderness, particularly in cold, desolated places. In early native history, the wilderness was both a place of sustenance and danger. The Wendigo came to represent the more hostile aspects of nature, particularly in winter when resources were scarce and survival was uncertain, which obviously is in those times, you had to be tough to make it.
Yeah.
You had to be. The creature was believed to haunt forests and desolate places, preying on those who were alone or weak, particularly during the winter. In connection to the wilderness, also highlighted the indigenous belief that human beings needed to live in balance with nature. The Wendigo embodied the danger of losing that balance and becoming consumed by hunger and or greed. Some indigenous historians believe that the Wendigo was once a symbol for Euro American greed, land theft, and violence against indigenous peoples. Some believe that indigenous elders began telling the tale of the Wendigo to their children to discourage them from pursuing a life of greed and self-interest, inspired and more than a little frightened by the mysterious nature of the Wendigo beast. Um, so yeah, I mean, stories go on; they pass it on to generations. Don't be basically like don't be an asshole because this being like this, greed. Then that was another part of the Wendigo's nature was greed. It because it wants, it wants, it wants. Um, that was part of it.
You know, but
You're gonna be like that. It'll, I guess, maybe call to the Wendigo, or you'll become a Wendigo.
well, it ties into the nomadic having to follow and track and hunt prey. You know,
Hmm.
if you kill all, let's say you kill all the deer in a season. Well,
Yeah.
guess what? That deer stopped doing is living in the winter. So
Hmm.
you gotta abstain from over hunting your prey because what are you going to eat during the winter? You know, like don't be probably don't be greedy with the kills. Don't you gotta be respectful or else our food source will basically dwindle to nothing when we need it the most.
Hmm.
You know, so
Right.
telling the story of the Wendigo would probably instill fear into the youth that are learning to hunt and stuff, and put a cap on what game they shot instead of because everyone knows they probably could have killed all the deer real quick,
Oh yeah.
because they had the skill. They just
Right.
didn't. They
Right.
just they
Because if
didn't
you killed them all, what are you going to eat later?
exactly.
We're gonna starve to death. So we have to leave some animals. We have to leave some of the males or whatever out there too, so they can produce. We have more food later.
Yeah, yeah.
They knew
So
that.
that was probably a sustenance tail. You know, like we don't want to get too greedy. We don't want to kill all the game. You know, and that way we don't starve and resort to cannibalism. So I wonder if the part of their story for fear is like the sick and the weak would die off during winter, and they'll blame that on the Wendigo, and then that would
Um,
keep that story palatable.
Probably. You know what? Probably. I mean, they could have. Any things like that, they would probably attribute
Hmm.
to that sort of creature, or that thing, I
Wow.
guess, like, or to the Wendigo, you
Yeah,
know.
man,
Yeah, it's pretty
that's
crazy, right?
because then if there really was a cannibal hunting the the tribe that kicked them out right for cannibalism, uh,
Hmm.
what would you hunt? The weak and the sick.
Right. And when's the perfect time to hunt the weak and the sick? During the
Probably at
winter
night.
months when there's nothing,
Yep. Yep.
because
So
nobody's going anywhere. Sick. It happens even now. Everybody gets sick during the winter. Why? Because everybody's inside. Nobody goes outside in the wintertime.
mhm.
Everybody's inside. They're all huddled together indoors, coughing, spreading of germs. That's how everyone gets sick so fast. That's why everyone
Mhm.
gets sick during the winter.
And
So,
where are the healthy people out getting food, so they're not around to protect the sick.
right.
So
There you go.
it's wow. It's just like
Yeah.
it's like deeper and darker. If it were true, that's what probably transpired.
Or
Like,
is it true? Daniel, this could be true.
dude,
We don't know.
I believe this shit happened, especially up north. With what happens is what was that movie? Fuck. There was anyway where this one native tribe was hunting caribou, right? And the
Hmm.
caribou, something happened on like the normal pass that year, where like there was a mudslide, landslide, right? And the caribou couldn't get through the pass that they normally took
Hmm.
every year, and
Yeah.
so the native people had no food. So immediately they had to up and go. And I'm like, it's just so feasible. I could see that during the winter, starvation, lack of game, lack or changing of migration patterns for certain prey. Yeah, I could see this playing out real life. I mean, granted, I don't think it's a cryptid. I think what originally was a dude picking picking the sick and weak off to eat them.
Well, you know what? When you say that, I think it could have been, it was probably a dude that there wasn't any food, and he resorted to going after the sick and the weak to get food. Because what's going to, again, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, the sick and the weak, what are they going to do anyway? They're going to die.
Yeah.
That's how everybody got weeded out. Back,
Yep.
like I said, back then, it was survival of the fittest. Only the
Yep.
strong survive. If you were weak, if you were sick, you're going to die. And a lot of times you're going to die because you had a cold.
Yeah.
Nowadays, no one's going to die because you have, I mean, some people probably do, but that's like rare.
Yeah.
Back then it was like, you get a cold, man, you're gonna fucking die.
Dude, I could see this playing out. I could see this playing out like real life. I could
Yeah.
I don't I bet it wasn't just one person. I bet it was like a whole tribe, a whole group turned cannibal, and they
Oh
started
my
hunting other
gosh.
groups.
Could you? Oh man, that'd make a good movie.
That I bet that I could see that play out as well. Because that would be terrifying. That would be fucking terrifying. Like going after a
Trademark.
whole
We're going after it.
different.
We're gonna make a movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean that just for some reason that scenario just plays out like to me. I could see that. I could see that movie play out in my head.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
Um.
like especially up there, bro. Yeah, anything goes. Anything goes up there. That's
Yeah. Well,
too
no.
much
Yeah.
snow,
Again, they
too
they have
cold.
harsh winters. I mean, just
Hmm.
the likes that most people probably never been through. You know. And even back then, because now you have like your house is heated, cars are heated. Back then, man, if it was cold, man, you're not gonna make it.
And doesn't cannibalism eventually turn your like eyes yellow? Like not the pupils, but like the eyes. Like
I
it
think
like there's
so.
some sort of like condition that
Is it
happens
because of
to
the
the human
iron
body.
and is it because
Yeah,
it's too much iron? I
or
think.
something. Yeah,
Hey,
something
if
where like
anybody knows, put it in the comments. What? Tell
w-
us. Is
well,
that what happens?
I
I
think
think that's what it is.
I think that's what, yeah, that's for sure what happens. And
To all the many nurses that are out there listening, I know there's a lot of nurses that are listening to this. Tell
mhm.
us, what's your
What are
diagnosis?
symptoms?
Yeah,
What are
what's the
symptoms? And
symptoms of
not and
cannibalism?
yeah, like what are the health concerns? But like remember like the when was it? The football team, the soccer team that got caught up in the mountains that resorted to cannibalism. There was like a whole
Not
plane
we
crash.
not what is it? Not what was that one? Not not the
Which
Marsh
one? The
team,
one?
right?
No, no, they died. No,
The
the
football
other plane
team.
crash. Yeah, the other plane
We
crash.
were we were
Like it
we
was
were
in like the
Marshall or something like
Andes.
that. The soccer team,
Yeah,
the other football
yeah.
team.
Like they were in the Andes. They crashed. They
Uh
crashed,
huh.
and some people survived. Some people died along the way. There was no food. They weren't dressed properly for surviving the mountains, and they ended up having to, as people would die, eat them to survive.
Yeah, they resorted to cannibalism. Yeah, that's a hard
Yeah,
that's a hard one because I feel like that once you cross that line, everything changes, man. Everything.
yeah. Your whole life, bro. Like
Yeah,
that is a psychological decision.
yeah,
Like, how do you even look at a tomorrow when like I know what human flesh tastes like?
yeah. How do you even look at another person? Because you can look
To
at them and be like, I know what
yeah,
forearms taste like.
yeah. Like I survived, but at what fucking cost?
All right.
You know?
Um, well, like you said, okay. So there is said to be spiritual possession. That was another key aspect in the Wendigo. In some early stories, the Wendigo was not necessarily a physical creature, but a spirit that could possess a person who was morally weakened, greedy, or had broken cultural taboos. Once possessed, the person would slowly begin to transform into the monster monstrosity form of the Wendigo. In
Hmm.
both cases, the transformation was a punishment for violating cultural norms and values. The person's loss of humanity symbolized the Wendigo's grotesque appearance, and endless hunger represented the consequences of moral failure.
Hmm.
Yeah, which so basically you could be possessed by the spirit. It's not a demon; it's a spirit because you are being greedy. You're not living your life right. You are not. You're going against what I guess what the tribe or whatever
Yeah.
the rest of the village is working for, and then they come after you. It comes to you.
I wonder if that was like the back in the day witch hunts. I wonder if that was it to stifle the, let's for instance like the outside thinkers. It's
Hmm.
like, hey, I hear this place. There's a place called Florida. What if we go there? Wendigo, Wendigo, kill him.
Oh,
Like I like because you got to keep the tribe together because that's the only way you guys survive. So anything that goes
right.
outside of norms, or you could be Jim in the fucking woods fondling fish, and that's weird too. So you kill him. And I wonder what the repercussions are of being possessed by the Wendigo.
I think meant for fondling fish.
No, 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 no.
I think the
Uh,
repercussions for that would be pretty bad
yeah,
because they'd be like,
yeah, bro.
"Come on, why
Like,
fondle a fish? You
come
could
on.
fondle a deer."
Yeah. Uh, but no, I feel like I wonder what the the punishment was from uh the Indian tribes, the different native tribes,
To the
for
Wendigo?
someone that was possessed by the Wendigo. I wonder what
Oh,
would
it had to
happen.
have been death. It had to have been death because you can't turn back. You can't turn back to a human. Once you got it, you got it. That's it.
But how would they determine? I mean, yeah, I
Well,
I feel
you
like
start
that's
looking like
very
shit,
well. I
you
mean,
know.
not in a possession though. Not
But
but like
but you still have the urge to go and like eat people. So it's like we can't put you know Keith back into being a normal guy,
I mean,
because
Keith keeps trying to eat people.
he keeps trying to eat Mike's arm, so we gotta we gotta like stop him from doing that. So
Fucking, that's funny. Fucking bad Keith. Go back to your TP. No, I said no. No eating people. No, like that's
no
dude,
is
but I,
no.
no, it's no. Stop trying to eat people. No, I just want to know, like, because in that's kind of that plays a part. That plays a huge part. Especially these Native American tribes. You have like the chieftain, the head honcho, the guy in charge,
Mhm,
right? He would dish out
mhm,
these
mhm.
accusations of he's a Wendigo, he's been possessed by the spirit of the Wendigo, or whatever, and
Right.
that's it. Like that's it. I'm pretty sure it wasn't banishment. I'm pretty
Well,
sure it
again,
wasn't banishment unless
America's
they
up.
ate
They
him.
probably don't want to let. They don't want to like let them run around the wilderness, right?
Yeah, no, because then he'll hunt
Because he's
you.
good. All because if I'm not mistaken, a lot of the tribes too. It's not like they were next door neighbors. They were, they had space in between each other. So
Hmm.
really, he would either run to the other tribe or he would run back around and come back to his own tribe, which I'm assuming is why they would probably say, "Well, we got to kill him because he's going to come back and he's
Yeah,
going to eat us,
yeah,
or he's
yeah.
going to
That's
try to." What if he
that's
snatches up a
crazy.
small child? You know?
Yeah, that's see, like that's a crazy reality that I could see happening.
Right.
But
Um,
okay,
so when European fur traders, missionaries, and settlers began interacting with the Algonquin speaking tribes in the 17th and 18th centuries, they learned of the Wendigo legend and were struck by fear and respect indigenous peoples had for their what the fuck, and were struck by the fear and respect indigenous people had for the creature. Some of the first written records of the Wendigo came from Jesuit missionaries in the early 1600s. These early accounts described the Wendigo as a cannibalistic spirit and noted the fear of Wendigo possession among the native people. Jesuit accounts, like the Jesuit Relations of 1636, recorded Wendigo stories told by the Algonquin people. While these early European interpretations lacked a nuanced understanding of the creature's role in indigenous culture, they documented the central place of the Wendigo in Algonquin spiritual life. Now, one of the earliest sightings was Swift Runner in 1879. It was documented early. It was one of the doc. It was one of the earliest documented cases involving the Wendigo legend. It was the story of Swift Runner, a Cree trapper from Alberta, Canada. In the winter of 1879, Swift Runner and his family were trapped by a severe winter with food running out. Eventually, Swift Runner was found alone. When authorities investigated, they discovered that he had killed and eaten his family despite there being ample food at a nearby Hudson Bay Company outpost. So, Swift Runner claimed he was possessed by the spirit of the Wendigo, which drove him to commit the horrific act of cannibalism. And his case became infamous because of the mix of psychological breakdown, hunger, and the Wendigo legend. He was hung in 1879 for his crimes, but the case helped solidify the Wendigo's terrifying association with the darkest aspects of human nature.
Jesus.
Right. So basically, this guy, it was a rough winter. He said there wasn't enough food, but there apparently was an outpost close by that he probably could have got to, and he decided to take out his whole family and
But
have them for dinner.
though that's I feel like you can't judge, um, like not knowing there's an outpost. You know, how many times do people get lost in the woods and there's a fucking road right there? You know,
The only thing I would say about that is if you're familiar with the area, you got to be able to find the out. You should be able to find the out. I mean, back then, really, you had to be really good with directions.
yeah. And
You know what I mean?
if it was snowing, you're screwed.
Right. But you had to be good with directions because if you're not good with directions, you're gonna fucking die.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
100. I mean, with the name like Swift Runner, I would hope. I
he would
would
have. He
hope.
should have had better directional skills,
Yes,
right?
yes. At least some navigation. But but then again, the snow, like blizzard, shit like that. That's the equalizer, dude.
Right.
You're
Right.
not moving in that shit. It
Right.
doesn't
So
matter
I mean,
if
again,
something is like
he was
in the
he
yeah.
he was all alone, no food, or the food was running out. He probably panicked, didn't know what to do. Thought, who knows? He fucked up. They killed him anyway.
Yeah.
You know, um,
Yeah.
but in more recent times, Wendigo sightings are rare, but one account from the 1980s stands out. Several people from northern Ontario claim to have seen a large, emaciated creature with glowing red eyes in the deep woods. These witnesses describe the creature as over 12 feet tall, with a
Fuck.
gaunt skeletal frame and sharp claws. It was seen stalking through the trees, moving quickly despite its thin and frail appearance. The encounter was linked to a series of strange disappearances in the area, leading to local speculation that the Wendigo might be responsible, or a Wendigo might be responsible. While there were no concrete physical traces left behind, the fear in the community was palpable. Some believe that these kinds of sightings are manifestations of the Wendigo legend in modern times, blending folklore with the very real dangers of survival in remote wilderness. Yeah, so I mean, it's just people still say or think they see this creature or this cryptid out there. You know, who's to say? Jesus Christ. I saw a video where this guy is sitting on his porch and his dog is just like staring off behind his shed into the woods. And he's like, what's over there? And there's something moving. And the dog's just sitting there, like looking at it, like whatever this thing is. You know,
Yeah.
you obviously don't see what it is, but you can hear something in back there rustling around, like walking or whatever. But
No.
yeah, I don't know, man.
No way, man.
It's too much.
Like if I lived out in the woods, man, I would have like the fucking I Am Legend lights everywhere. Like straight up, flick some switches, power grid goes
Oh,
down, but I'm seeing into the future. Like
mo-
nothing is
motion,
escaping.
motion, motion detected lights. Yes. Soon as something walks by, all the lights turn on, cameras turn on. It's
Yeah. Yep.
everything.
Yep. That's what it
It's-
is. But you know what? You know what's funny though? It's like if you have those types of lights and or that type of awareness to put up all that shit, guess what? You're never seeing nothing.
Right, right.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
That's how
Well,
it
you know what?
goes.
That's even better. That's fine with me. I don't want to see
Yep.
anything. I don't want
Yep.
to see it.
Like what happened last night at Av's house? Oh, the lights lit up and there was a forest fire.
Yeah.
Our power went out. Like, but nothing happened. No
Nothing.
person was got and nobody was eaten. So
No.
success rate 100%.
100%. Yeah, I'm like, that's fine with me. That's totally fine with me.
Yeah,
But
man.
anyway, so that is our story of the Wendigo. If you like that, you want to hear some more stories of this cryptid. Is it a cryptid? You tell us. Do you think it's a cryptid, or is this just a creature that's out there roaming the wilderness in Michigan, Canada? Where have you? Have you heard of
Or
the
it could be,
Wendigo before?
or it could be a case of misidentification of another cryptid.
Could be. Could be. It could be the chupacabra.
Yeah, or the Mothman.
Ooh,
Yep.
Mothman.
Joseph
Yeah,
Mothman.
Joseph.
Yep.
Yeah.
Joseph Mothman.
Yeah.
And but yeah, no, for real. Like that's the other thing, right? With all these cryptids and all these stories going around, it's like there have to be missightings of certain stuff, man. It's like I saw this, like I could have been that,
Did you really see it?
And now I'm not talking about missightings of like, oh, that was a deer. No, I'm like that was
Yeah.
probably a Sasquatch. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
no.
Like not a Wendigo, which doesn't make it any better at all.
No, yeah, definitely.
It's
No.
still terrifying, but because I would hate to be that nerd. Like going to the woods, it's like a big thing. It's like, oh, run! Like, actually, it's not a Wendigo. It's a Bigfoot.
You're fine. Just stay still.
Yeah, it's like, oh god. Anyway,
Yeah.
no, this is a good story, man. Just I love these cryptids because every story makes me more creeped out to go into the woods alone.
Reading these stories creeps me out, and I don't ever want to go in the woods alone.
Yep.
I don't ever want to go in the woods.
Nope.
That's why I like living in the city. But then there's different things you got to deal with in the city, which
Killers.
we will be getting to soon.
Yes. Oh man. Anyway, man, that was good. Wendigo. Wendigo. Wendigo.
Wendigo. Went.
Window went. Patent pending.
Gone.
Wendigo. Window went. Wendigo. New merch coming to the store. Oh,
Keep
man.
an eye out for it. Anyway, so thank you all again very much. I appreciate it. Our subs are going up. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't, please do so. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment. We do check them. We try to get back as soon as possible. Remember, if you do want to get in touch with us, email is at the realifiles.com. No, you at gmail.com. Sorry.
Yeah.
I believe.
The real
send a picture, send a story,
Gmail.
send something.
Yeah. The real files at Gmail. Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yep.
Man.
We don't even know our own email address.
I have no idea. I'm just like, is it there?
Oh,
I believe it exists.
Yeah.
That is cryptic
Yeah,
as well. Enigmatic.
Yeah. It's a very cryptid email. But yeah, thanks again to all those that still come back and support the channel. If you like it, let us know. You got an idea? Drop us a line. Drop us an email. Anyway, thank you, Dale, for hanging out, doing this.
Yeah, man. Yep.
Until next time. Peace.
Later, guys.
In a world of shadows and hidden truths, we search for answers, we chase the clues. A podcast of